Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. This time we're looking into something I think a lot of us struggle with, and that's like building a healthy daily routine, one that actually works for you. So to help us out today, we've got a really interesting mix of sources. We've got some stuff about like mental health articles and some financial advice pieces. We even have a glimpse into what LeBron James does to stay at the top of his game.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how these different areas of life, mental health and finances, they actually connect when you're trying to build a healthy and successful routine. And what's great is we're going to explore some practical tips today, things that our listeners can actually use.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about. So why don't we just dive right in? Let's start with this article from Z News that really stood out to me. It talks about like simple daily habits that can really boost your mental well-being. And these are things anyone can do.
And the cool thing about this article is that it really emphasizes starting small. Like, you don't have to make huge changes overnight. It's all about those little steps that you do consistently.
Exactly. Like they suggest starting your day with just, 5 minutes of mindfulness or meditation. And there's so many great apps out there to help you with that, like Calm or Headspace.
I think that's a great tip. And when you think about the science behind it, mindfulness can actually reduce stress and help you think more clearly. It's like a little mental warm-up for your day.
I love that mental warm-up.
Yeah.
Okay, so mindfulness is the first step. And then they talk about physical activity. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be anything intense, right?
Right. It could be something as simple as like walking or dancing or stretching. The key is to just get your body moving.
Which makes sense because exercise releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals in your brain. And it can actually improve how well your brain works, too.
Yeah, it's like a win-win for your mind and your body. So even if you're busy, a quick walk during your lunch break could make a big difference.
Okay, so we've got mindfulness movement. What else?
Well, this article also highlights the power of gratitude journaling. It sounds simple, but spending a few minutes each day writing down what you're thankful for can actually change your mindset.
I've tried that before. And it really does help you focus on the positive things in your life, even when things are tough.
There's a lot of research behind that, too. Gratitude can actually rewire your brain to be more positive and resilient. So it's not just like a feel-good thing. It's actually changing how your brain works.
I love that. Of course, the article talks about connecting with loved ones. And I think that's something we all need to make time for, even if it's just a quick phone call or text message.
Social connection is so important for our mental and physical health. It gives us a sense of belonging and purpose. The things are essential for a longer and healthier life.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so we've got our foundation for a healthy mind and body. Mindfulness movement, gratitude, and connection. Those feel like pretty solid building blocks, right?
They really are. And the best part is you don't have to overhaul your entire life to make these changes. Just small, consistent efforts can have a big impact over time. It's about finding ways to integrate them into your daily routine.
And here's where things get really interesting. Did you know that some of your daily habits can actually affect your finances too?
I know, right? It seems kind of crazy. But our next source is from New Trader U, and they talk about some surprising money drains that people might not even be aware of.
Like they say that buying breakfast on the go every day can really add up. Let's say you spend $10 on breakfast 5 days a week. That's like $2,400 a year.
Yeah, and think about it. If you were to invest that money instead, you could see some serious growth over time.
Wow, that puts things in perspective. The article also talks about those digital subscriptions that we all forget about and those little in-app purchases that we make without even thinking.
It's so easy to fall into those traps. They recommend doing a digital spending audit, which I think is a great idea. It helps you see exactly where your money's going and where you can cut back.
So true. And here's something that connects back to the Z News article. The New Trader U piece also talks about how eating lunch at your desk every day can be a missed opportunity.
Yeah, they suggest organizing lunch groups with colleagues, which is a great way to save money and also to network and build relationships.
It's amazing how these seemingly unrelated things like grabbing breakfast on the go or eating lunch alone can actually impact our finances and even our careers.
It really highlights how interconnected all these areas of our lives are. The choices we make on a daily basis can have a ripple effect, impacting our health, our well-being, and even our financial success.
Okay, so we've talked about the foundation for mental and physical health, and we've talked about how our daily spending habits can affect our finances. But now I think it's time to dive into the power of sleep.
Oh, yeah. Sleep is so important, and it's often overlooked. But as we'll see, it can even play a role in building wealth. So this New Trader U article, it actually mentions how a lack of sleep can really mess with your decision making. Like when you're tired, you're more likely to just like grab takeout or, buy something you don't really need.
Yeah, that's so true. When I'm tired, I definitely don't make the best choices. And speaking of making good choices, even LeBron James prioritizes sleep.
Oh, yeah, I read about that. His routine is pretty intense, but he still makes sure to get enough sleep.
He even calls sleep like the best recovery tool you can have.
He compares it to charging your phone, which I think is a great analogy. We all know how important it is to charge our phones, but we often neglect to fully recharge ourselves.
And it's not just about feeling rested either, right? There are like actual physical benefits to getting enough sleep.
Totally. Our longevity expert talks about how sleep is crucial for like hormone regulation, muscle repair, memory consolidation, all these important things.
Wow. So basically, sleep helps our bodies and minds function at their best. And it even helps prevent those age-related health issues.
Exactly. So it's not just about feeling good in the moment. It's about investing in your long-term health and well-being.
So it sounds like we don't need like a fancy biohacking setup to prioritize sleep. Just some simple habits can make a big difference.
Yeah, like limiting screen time before bed, having a consistent sleep schedule, creating a relaxing bedtime routine. Those are all great places to start.
I know. I love taking a hot bath and reading a book before bed. It really helps me wind down.
Little rituals like that can be so powerful. They signal to your body that it's time to relax and prepare for sleep.
Okay. So we know sleep is important. But how do we put all this together? Like, how do we create a realistic daily routine that incorporates everything we've learned?
That's a great question. Maybe we can create like a flexible framework, something that people can adapt to their own needs and preferences.
Yeah, because there's no one-size-fits-all approach, right? It's about finding what works best for you.
Exactly. So let's start with that morning mindfulness practice we talked about. Even just 5 minutes can make a difference.
And then some movement. Get that blood flowing.
Yeah.
Maybe a quick workout or a yoga class or even just a walk around the block.
And don't forget a healthy breakfast. If you're short on time, you can always prep something the night before.
Oh, yeah. And that way you can avoid those expensive breakfast takeout runs, too.
Exactly. Win-win for your health and your wallet. All right, so after breakfast, it's time for work. But let's be smart about it.
Yeah, like focus on work blocks with breaks for movement and social connection.
Those breaks are crucial. They help you stay energized and prevent burnout. Plus, it gives you a chance to connect with your colleagues.
And speaking of connection, lunchtime is a great opportunity to put that new Trader U advice into action.
Right. Instead of eating at your desk, organize a lunch group with your colleagues. Save some money and build those relationships.
Okay, so after lunch, it's back to work with those focus blocks and breaks. And as the workday winds down, it's time to start winding yourself down, too.
Time for some screen-free time. Maybe an hour before bed, just put those devices away and do something relaxing.
Read a book, listen to music, take a bath. Anything that helps you unwind.
And then aim for a consistent bedtime, even on weekends. This helps regulate your sleep cycle so you wake up feeling refreshed.
Weekends are also a great time to catch up on those healthy habits we talked about, like meal prepping, spending time with loved ones, getting outdoors.
It's all about recharging and setting yourself up for a successful week ahead. Okay, now let's have a little fun. Remember LeBron James and his crazy biohacking routine?
Oh yeah, cryotherapy, hyperbaric chambers, Normatec boots. It's like he's a real-life superhero.
It is pretty extreme, but it does highlight the importance of recovery. And it's interesting to see how some of those things like the Normatec boots are actually becoming more accessible for everyday athletes.
I think it also sparks curiosity. It makes you think about different ways to prioritize your recovery, even if it's just something simple like stretching or foam rolling.
Totally. And you know what's funny? Even though LeBron's routine is super high-tech, there are some core principles that he shares with our longevity expert.
Like they both emphasize sleep-consistent exercise, quality time with loved ones, and a healthy diet.
It seems like those are the real fundamentals, no matter who you are or what your goals are.
Speaking of diet, our longevity expert follows a pretty specific eating plan. He focuses on protein, vegetables, and berries. And he also practices time-restricted eating.
Time-restricted eating, what's that?
It's basically limiting the window of time during which you eat each day. So you might eat all your meals within like an 8-hour period and then fast for the remaining 16 hours.
That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. And you know what? It actually ties in perfectly with the meal prepping advice from New Trader U.
Exactly. If you plan your meals in advance, it's easier to stick to a healthy eating schedule. And you're less likely to make those impulsive, unhealthy food choices.
So it's a win for your health and your wallet. So there you have it. We've created a pretty solid framework for a healthy daily routine. And we even got some inspiration from LeBron James along the way.
But remember, this is just a starting point. It's up to you to personalize it and experiment and find what truly works best for you.
Don't get overwhelmed. Just start small. Pick 1 or 2 habits to focus on and go from there.
And be patient. Building new habits takes time and effort. It's a journey, not a destination.
Absolutely. And if you ever need some extra motivation or inspiration, you can always come back and revisit this deep dive.
Or you can check out the sources we mentioned. There's so much great information out there to help you on your journey to a healthier and happier life.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to mention one more thing that the longevity expert talked about. Have you ever heard of rapamycin?
Rapamycin.
No, what's that?
It's a compound that's been showing some promising results in longevity studies. It's pretty cutting-edge stuff, but it's definitely worth looking into if you're interested in the science of aging.
It just shows that there's always more to learn and new discoveries being made all the time.
Right. And it highlights the importance of staying curious and open to new information as we continue our own journeys of healthy aging.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, from the basics of building a healthy mind and body to the surprising ways our daily choices can impact our finances. And we even touched on some advanced topics like rapamycin and biohacking.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, and I hope you've gained some valuable insights that you can apply to your own life. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Start small, be consistent, and enjoy the journey. Okay, so we've given you a lot to think about, but don't worry, you don't have to do everything at once.
Right. Just pick 1 or 2 things that really resonated with you and start there. Maybe it's that morning mindfulness practice, or maybe it's finally tackling those digital subscriptions.
I know I'm definitely going to be checking my subscriptions after this. I had no idea how much I was spending on things I don't even use.
It's amazing how those little things can add up. But just imagine what you could do with that extra money each month. You could invest it, you could save for a vacation, you could finally buy that thing you've been wanting.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Mm.
But the key is to just start somewhere. Pick one habit you want to change or add and focus on that.
And remember, be patient. It takes time to build new habits. There will be days when you slip up, but that's okay. Just get back on track and keep going.
Don't get discouraged. It's all about progress, not perfection. And this deep dive is really just the beginning.
Yeah, we've given you some tools and ideas, but it's up to you to explore further and find what works best for you.
So we encourage you to check out the sources we mentioned. Do your own research and keep learning. There's a whole world of information out there about health and wellness and personal finance.
And it's a constantly evolving world. So stay curious, stay open-minded, and keep seeking out information that can help you live a healthier and happier life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a question.
Okay, I like questions. What is it?
Knowing everything we've talked about today, what's one habit you're going to commit to changing or adding to your routine starting today?
That's a great question. And I hope our listeners take some time to really think about it. It's all about taking action and turning knowledge into positive change.
We're so glad you joined us for another deep dive. We hope you found it informative and inspiring.
Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep diving deep.